Welcome to the Gulenko Business and Recruitment Show. I record these completely unscripted, either when I go to the gym or leave the gym. This show is about how there are certain professions that suffer from the problem that it's always their fault. Example, us as recruiters, it's always our fault. For example, if we don't remind the candidate about an appointment, the calendar invite for an interview, it's our fault. Like the candidate didn't come, missed the interview, the calendar had the wrong time zone, so the person thought it's like 1 hour later than it should have been because Calendly screwed it up because it showed for the one person London time, for the other person Zurich time. All that and other misunderstandings that happened in the last 10 years. That's why we are always reminding candidates, hey, do you remember that you have an interview tomorrow? At that time of that company, are you prepared? And in most cases, well, people do react, nicely about this and, well, are happy that somebody's thinking about them. But once in a while, people get really angry. They say, why do you remind me? Like, this is annoying and stuff. And then I have to call and explain to them, hey, look, understand that, you are someone who really is conscientious and all that. But like, after COVID, it really changed. Many people are not so reliable for some reason, and it doesn't stop getting, better. So our processes include regular reminders to candidates, and they still would and at that point, some people would be like, all right, I understand, no problem. But some candidates would still be angry, like, how can you assume that I am like a bad person and will forget about the appointment? And look, I do not know you. I can't look inside your head. And then I literally have like a 20-minute conversation on the phone about how I'm kind of sorry that like I pissed them off, because I really am, because they are kind of paying the price because other people, screwed up, right? So I get the point, but that's why recruitment is so hard. It's very similar to like customer support, sales, being a doctor, basically any profession where you deal with people, because you have your processes, how you interact, what you say, what do you expect as a reply, and everybody reacts in a different way, although there are patterns, right? Some people do have the tendency to react to basically everything that happens in a positive way, because, well, this is just their character. Other people, however, no matter what you do, they will react in a negative way, and this is their character too. So this is part of recruitment, that we gather, information that is definitely not displayed on the resume, right? But it is displayed to us during the regular interaction. And you can bet your ASS, I don't know the word, that we obviously, if there are several candidates at the clients, interviewing with the client, we will, of course, when we're asked, mention who behaves in a reasonable way, who, treated us fairly in a way that, we can say that this is a good person, this will be a good candidate, this is somebody who understands if mistakes happens. And we will also mention if people treat us basically like human garbage, because this is what happens once in a while, right? So this is true for every profession. This is why they say, okay, if there's an interview, you should, ask if you interview a person, you should ask the secretary or the receptionist, okay, this candidate, did they treat you well? Because usually people, well, they can pretend, to treat the boss or the big manager well, but they forget to treat also the cleaning person, the receptionist, in the same way, right? So that's why this trick exists, that as a manager or hiring manager, you ask these people that are seemingly not important to the process because they're not directly involved. This is why this, approach exists, and is a very reasonable one. Proxies everywhere, right? You see that proxies are used for all kinds of things to find out the true nature of the candidate. Like, how's the candidate in a situation that is, let's say, unpredictable? How's the candidate reacting in a setting that was never displayed to them before? How the candidate reacts in a stressful situation? All that you cannot check in a formal interview that well. That's why this informal settings are crucial to really find out, okay, like, how will the person be in the office? And if you confront them with, like, weird situations, how will they make you, will they need to hell to be around or not, right? So in a profession like recruiting, you get the chance to actually find out about the true nature of a person. And that is both beauty of it, because it really does make the job, introduces variety, right? It never gets boring. At the same time, if your morning starts with a person essentially screaming at you for stuff that you do for 10 years, where you have like 200 reviews for your work, and then somebody suddenly is like super pissed off about that and tells you you're dumb, like, why do you do this, blah, blah, blah. The only way you can do is think in your head whatever, but like react in a very calm way and say, we didn't want to, treat you badly, but the market situation forces us to be in this way. We will make a note about you that you are like, you don't need this kind of like treatment, and how you should roll from there to like not make the person somehow think they are not heard. Usually angry people, this is another trick, right? If you deal with crazy people that, immediately, they are like criticizing something that makes no sense whatsoever, you have to praise them, right? Never argue. You can never be like, yes, but I'm right. Like, I spoke to 200 people and you're the first one who complained. Never say that. This is the usual trap that I see people fall in. Like, compare, this is like, always a mistake in my opinion. You can argue with that, because it is usually what people like first thought, and they just say it. Even if it's true, right? You will not make the person leave with a good feeling if you tell them they are very special in a negative way, right? Because if you say, well, I did this to like 200 people, and you're the first one who doesn't like it. Like, this is, even if it's true, it does not help the situation, right? The person will never feel heard. The person will never feel good. The person will leave a bad review about you. So the correct way to deal with difficult people is tell them, all right, like, I hear you, I understand you. We will like totally really write this down. Yeah, you are really special in a good way. Other people are not like you. It would be great if everybody would be like you. So you have to praise them, right? Because if people overreact in this way, like tell you, suck because of some, trivial things, something is wrong with them, right? Every psychologist will confirm you this. Always, if you have an overreaction to, let's say, a normal thing, there is like some psychological damage, right? I'll give you like personal example. Like, I'm sometimes, people, say, I'll send you the resume, and then they don't. And there is a story of Drakon, right? The Greek ruler. He actually existed. So draconian punishment is not something that like was just made up. It actually exists. So there was a time in ancient Greece in 900 something, maybe I'm wrong, look it up, I don't know. But there was an actual historical time where every bad behavior was punished with the penalty. And Drakon explained it in the following way. The small, let's say, how's it called? The small sins are already deserve the death penalty because they're really bad. So this includes like stealing, lying, all that. Those are the small sins where it's like death penalty. And for the bigger, so this deserves death penalty. And but for the bigger ones, there is no higher punishment. So this is also death penalty. And I was like, well, yeah, that sounds of course very brutal, but it definitely might solve our problem for some time that like people say, oh, I sent you the resume, and then they don't, then we have to chase them. Of course, I know this is like not what I seriously want, but like I do have the thought, right? Sometimes. And this you also see that I have like a psychological damage from this recruitment work, that I'm like, okay, you promised to send your resume PDF, but then you don't and ghost us, so death penalty. Obviously, this thought is like an overreaction, right? So something is wrong with me. So the same thing here with like other people. If you see that they overreact on, like, it's like, you know it when you see it. So if it's like, oh, this is obviously an overreaction to something, you have to be maximum kind and forgiving and understanding and let them know, yes, this is like, you're very special in a good way, and we really do also our best. Please understand us, blah, blah, blah. You can never like, say the stuff what I told before. Like, out of 2,000 people, you're the first one to criticize this. Screw you. What, what benefit you have from that other than pissing the other person off? Then you're like a little bit, I showed them like for 2 seconds, but actually you made a whole new problem now for everybody. They feel bad, they'll leave a bad review, they think of you bad, blah, blah, blah. But if you stay kind and understand, oh, this person is right now in a psychological state of insanity, basically, like me when I think of this stupid example of the death penalty for not sending the resume, then you understand that, it's all good and you just need to go on with another person and totally ignore the current one you're talking to because they are obviously in a state of insanity. And this is what you don't have time for. Insanity. Okay? So have a productive, good day, the rest of the day, and do not talk to insane people. Treat people well and have people not be bothered by nonsense and understand doctors, support workers, recruiters, salespeople, that they are sometimes a little bit edgy because they just have to deal with so many individuals. So speak later. Again, have a good day. Bye.